The elevator doors slid open with a quiet hiss, revealing the gleaming expanse of the 60th floor, Sterling Dynamics' executive sanctum. The air smelled of leather, expensive cologne, and something sharper, like the metallic tang of tension. Noah Carter adjusted his tie, fingers brushing the too-thin fabric of his discount suit. He didn't belong here. And yet, here he was. The receptionist's gaze flickered over him, lingering just a second too long on his scuffed shoes before she forced a smile. "Mr. Sterling is expecting you," she said, though her tone suggested she couldn't fathom why. Noah nodded, ignoring the way his pulse hammered against his ribs. He had rehearsed this moment 100 times in his head, but now, with the CEO's office looming at the end of the hall, the words felt like ash in his mouth. The door was ajar. Inside, Alexander Sterling stood with his back to the room, staring out the floor-to-ceiling windows at the city below. The skyline stretched endlessly, a kingdom he ruled with an iron grip. "You're late," Sterling said without turning. Noah clenched his jaw. The security check took longer than expected. A beat of silence. Then Sterling pivoted, his sharp blue eyes cutting through Noah like a scalpel. "You don't get to make excuses here, intern. Not in my building." Noah forced himself to meet that gaze. He had seen it before, in boardroom videos, in interviews, in the way Sterling dismantled competitors without flinching. But up close, there was something else. A flicker of something guarded. Noah reached into his bag and slid a file across the desk. "I think you'll want to see this." Sterling didn't move. "What is it?" "Proof." Noah kept his voice steady. "That you didn't build Sterling Dynamics alone." The air in the room thickened. Sterling's fingers twitched, just once, before he schooled his expression into icy calm. He flipped open the file, and for the first time, Noah saw the crack in the armor. A barely there tightening around his eyes. "Where did you get this?" Sterling's voice was dangerously soft. Noah exhaled. "Does it matter? The real question is what happens now." Sterling's laugh was humorless. "You think you can blackmail me? I don't want money." Noah leaned forward, the weight of the moment pressing down on him. "I want the truth, and I think you owe it to more people than just me." The silence stretched, taut as a wire. Outside, the city buzzed, oblivious to the storm brewing in this glass-walled office. Then Sterling moved. In 3 strides, he was inches from Noah, his presence suffocating. "You have no idea what you're playing with." Noah held his ground. "Try me." A knock at the door shattered the moment. Sterling's assistant stepped in, her eyes darting between them. "Sir, the board is waiting." Sterling didn't look away from Noah. "Tell them I'll be there shortly." The door clicked shut. Noah swallowed hard. He had expected anger, threats, maybe even violence. But the calculating gleam in Sterling's eyes was worse. It was the look of a man who had already decided how this would end. "You're dismissed," Sterling said finally. "But this isn't over." Noah forced a smirk, though his hands trembled. "I know." As he walked out, the weight of Sterling's stare burned into his back. He had come here with leverage, but now, with every step, the reality settled in. He had just poked a dragon. And dragons didn't forget. The fluorescent lights of the intern bullpen buzzed overhead, casting a sterile glow over rows of cramped desks. Noah sank into his chair, the adrenaline from his confrontation with Sterling still coursing through him. Around him, the other interns chattered, oblivious, eager, desperate to impress. "Where have you been?" Liam, the intern at the next desk, nudged him. "You missed the compliance training." Noah shrugged, forcing a casual tone. "Got pulled into something." Liam raised an eyebrow but didn't press. That was the thing about interns. They were too focused on their own survival to question anyone else's. Noah's phone buzzed. An encrypted message flashed on the screen. "Midnight. Parking garage B. Come alone." His stomach twisted. He had expected retaliation, but not this soon. The workday dragged, every minute stretching like taffy. Noah's fingers hovered over his keyboard, typing nonsense into spreadsheets while his mind raced. What did Sterling want? A bribe? A warning? Or something worse? When the clock finally struck 11, Noah slipped out, avoiding the security cameras with practiced ease. The garage was dim, the concrete walls swallowing the sound of his footsteps. A shadow detached itself from the darkness. Not Sterling. A woman stepped into the flickering light, tall, poised, her tailored suit screaming authority. Evelyn Cole, Sterling Dynamics' chief legal officer. Noah's breath hitched. This was worse than he'd thought. You're smarter than you look, she said, her voice cool. But not smart enough. Noah crossed his arms. If you're here to threaten me, save it. Evelyn's smile didn't reach her eyes. I'm here to offer you a choice. Walk away now, and we'll forget this ever happened. And if I don't, she stepped closer. Then you'll learn just how far Alexander Sterling is willing to go to protect his empire. Noah held her gaze. I'm not backing down. Evelyn sighed, as if disappointed. Pity. She pulled an envelope from her briefcase and handed it to him. Then you should know what you're up against. Noah opened it. Inside were photos, grainy, but unmistakable. His mother's apartment. His sister's college campus. His blood turned to ice. Evelyn watched him, her expression unreadable. This is your last chance, Noah. Walk away. The envelope crumpled in his grip. He had known Sterling was ruthless. But this was war. And Noah had just run out of retreat options. Noah's fingers trembled as he shoved the envelope into his jacket pocket, the weight of it burning against his ribs like a brand. Evelyn Cole's heels clicked against the concrete as she walked away, the sound echoing through the empty parking garage like a ticking clock. He stood there, frozen, the damp chill of the underground air seeping into his bones. They had threatened his family. His breath came in short, sharp bursts, his mind racing. He had expected corporate games, leaked scandals, sabotage projects, maybe even a quiet firing. But this was personal, and it changed everything. The drive home was a blur of neon lights and honking horns. His apartment, a shoebox studio on the wrong side of the city, felt smaller than ever when he finally locked the door behind him. He tossed the envelope onto his rickety kitchen table, then immediately snatched it back up, as if the photos inside might crawl out on their own. He forced himself to look. The first image was his mother's building, taken from across the street. The timestamp read 2 days ago. The second was his sister, Leah, walking across campus, her backpack slung over one shoulder, oblivious to the camera. The third, Noah's stomach lurched. A black sedan idling outside his own apartment. His hands clenched into fists. They had been watching him longer than he'd realized. A knock at the door nearly sent him out of his skin. He stuffed the photos back into the envelope and shoved it under the couch before creeping to the door, his pulse hammering in his throat. The peephole revealed Liam, his fellow intern, shifting nervously in the hallway. Noah exhaled sharply and yanked the door open. What are you doing here? Liam blinked, taken aback by Noah's tone. You left your laptop at the office. I figured you'd need it. He held up the device, then frowned. You okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. Noah forced his shoulders to relax. Yeah, fine. Just a long day. Liam hesitated, then lowered his voice. Listen, I don't know what you're mixed up in, but people are talking. Evelyn Cole was asking about you after you left. Noah's blood ran cold. What did she want? I don't know. But whatever it is, man, be careful. Liam handed him the laptop and took a step back. Sterling doesn't play games. Noah's grip tightened on the laptop. Yeah, I'm starting to get that. The next morning, Noah walked into Sterling Dynamics with his head high, the envelope tucked securely in his bag. The office hummed with its usual energy, emails pinging, printers whirring, interns scrambling. But today, every glance felt loaded. Every whisper might have been about him. He barely made it to his desk before a security guard appeared. Mr. Sterling wants to see you. Noah's jaw tightened. Now. The guard didn't answer, just gestured toward the elevators. The ride up to the 60th floor was silent. Noah's reflection in the polished metal doors looked hollow-eyed. His usual confidence sanded down to raw nerves. He had planned to confront Sterling on his own terms, but now? Now he was being summoned like a disobedient employee. Sterling's office was empty when he arrived. Noah hesitated in the doorway, his instincts screaming that something was wrong. The desk was immaculate, the cityscape view as imposing as ever. But the air felt different, charged, like the moment before a storm. Then the door clicked shut behind him. Noah spun. Evelyn Cole stood there, arms crossed, her expression unreadable. Sit down, Noah. He didn't move. Where's Sterling? Busy. She stepped closer, her heels sinking into the plush carpet. We need to talk. Noah's fingers twitched toward his bag. I think you've said enough. Evelyn's gaze flicked to the bag, then back to his face. You brought the photos. It wasn't a question. Noah exhaled through his nose. You really thought threatening my family would make me back down? Evelyn's lips thinned. I thought you'd be smart enough to recognize a losing battle. Noah laughed, the sound brittle. Funny. I was just thinking the same thing about you. For the first time, something flickered in Evelyn's eyes, uncertainty. What do you mean? Noah reached into his bag and pulled out a second envelope, thicker than the first. I didn't just bring the photos. I brought copies. And unless I walk out of here with a guarantee that my family stays out of this, they get sent to every major news outlet in the city. Evelyn's composure cracked. You're bluffing. Noah tilted his head. Try me. The silence stretched, thick with tension. Then, the door opened. Alexander Sterling stepped inside, his presence filling the room like a thunderclap. His sharp blue eyes locked onto Noah, then flicked to the envelope in his hand. I see we're past pleasantries, Sterling said, his voice dangerously calm. Noah held his ground. We were never there to begin with. Sterling's smile didn't reach his eyes. Sit. Let's talk. Noah didn't move. I'm done playing by your rules. Sterling's expression darkened. Then you're done at this company. Noah shrugged. Fine. But ask yourself, what's worse? Losing an intern? Or losing everything? The air in the room turned to ice. Sterling took a step forward. You have no idea what you're dealing with. Noah met his gaze without flinching. I know exactly what I'm dealing with. A man who's afraid of the truth. For a heartbeat, no one moved. Then Sterling's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, his jaw tightening, before shoving it back into his pocket. This isn't over, he said, his voice low. Noah smiled. No, it's just getting started. He turned and walked out, the weight of their stares burning into his back. He had just crossed a line, and there was no going back. The fluorescent hum of the elevator felt deafening as Noah descended from the 60th floor, his fingers tapping an uneven rhythm against his thigh. The confrontation had left his skin buzzing, adrenaline still coursing through him like live wires. He'd expected Sterling to crumble, to bargain, not double down. That miscalculation gnawed at him. The doors slid open on the 42nd floor, revealing a cluster of junior associates who fell silent as he stepped out. Their eyes tracked him, some curious, others wary. Word traveled fast in Sterling Tower. Noah's phone vibrated. Unknown number. Asterisk. You're more reckless than I thought. Meet me at the vault. 8 p.m. Come alone. Asterisk. The vault. An old speakeasy-style bar tucked beneath a financial district side street, favored by corporate types who wanted conversations to disappear into the hum of jazz and clinking glasses. Noah exhaled sharply. Only one person would choose that location. Rain slicked the pavement as Noah pushed through the vault's heavy oak door at 7:58. The air inside was thick with cigar smoke and the melancholy wail of a saxophone. In the back booth, half-shadowed by a flickering gas lamp, sat Daniel Reeves, Sterling Dynamics' ousted co-founder. Reeves looked older than the grainy press photos from his glory days. His once immaculate suit hung slightly loose, silver streaking his temples, but his gaze was razor-sharp. A tumbler of bourbon sat untouched before him. You took your time, Reeves said as Noah slid into the booth. Noah kept his hands visible on the table. You sent the tip about Sterling's offshore holdings. A slow smile. And you actually dug deep enough to find them. Most interns would have stopped at the shell companies. Noah leaned forward. Why help me? Reeves' finger traced the rim of his glass. Alexander and I built this company from 2 laptops in a garage. The patents, the algorithms, half were mine. He didn't just push me out. He erased me. His voice dropped. And now he's doing the same to you. A waiter deposited a second bourbon. Noah didn't touch it. Your little envelope stunt. Reeves continued. He's already spinning it. By morning, HR will have files painting you as unstable. A liability. Noah's stomach clenched. He'd expected retaliation, but a smear campaign would make him untouchable in any corporate job. Reeves slid a thumb drive across the table. Every dirty secret Alexander's buried in 15 years. Offshore payrolls. Stolen IP. The real reason the Jakarta office collapsed. Noah stared at the tiny metal rectangle. What's the catch? The board meeting Thursday. Walk in with this, and half those suits will turn on him. Reeves leaned in. But you don't strike me as a whistleblower. Noah pocketed the drive. What do you think I am? Hungry. Reeves' smile didn't reach his eyes. The question is, for justice? Or for what he took from you? The downpour had worsened when Noah stepped outside. He turned his collar up against the rain, mind racing. Reeves' files changed everything, but trusting a disgraced founder was its own gamble. His phone buzzed. Leah. Asterisk, Mom's freaking out. Some guy came by asking about you. Said he was from work? Asterisk. Noah's grip tightened on the phone. Sterling wasn't just playing defense. He was escalating. A Blacktown car rolled to a stop at the curb. The rear window lowered just enough to reveal Evelyn Cole's profile. Get in, she called over the rain. Unless you want your sister's scholarship investigated by morning. The door clicked open. Noah hesitated, rainwater dripping down his neck. Inside his pocket, the thumb drive felt suddenly heavier. He took a step forward. The car's interior smelled of leather and jasmine perfume. Evelyn tapped something into her phone before the privacy partition slid up, sealing them in silence. You're in over your head, she said without preamble. Noah wiped rain from his face. Funny. Reeves said the same thing. Evelyn's manicured nails stilled. Daniel contacted you? He had interesting stories. About Jakarta. About who really wrote the Ascension AI code. The car hit a puddle, sending a spray of water against the windows. Evelyn's expression remained smooth, but Noah caught the minute tightening around her eyes. Daniel Reeves is a bitter man who lost his company, she said. Whatever he's selling is the truth. Noah held her gaze. You know it. That's why you're here. Evelyn exhaled through her nose. Alexander is preparing a defamation lawsuit against you. But it doesn't have to go that far. Noah barked a laugh. After the family photos? You'll forgive me if I don't trust your olive branches. The car turned sharply onto the West Side Highway. Evelyn reached into her briefcase and produced a single sheet of paper, a non-disclosure agreement with 7 zeros on the signature line. Take the money, she said softly. Walk away. Noah studied the number. Enough to pay off his mother's mortgage. Enough to disappear. He looked up. Why does Sterling think I'm so dangerous? For the first time, Evelyn hesitated. The city lights streaked across the window behind her, painting her face in fleeting bursts of neon. Because you remind him of Daniel, she finally said. And Alexander always destroys what he can't control. The car slowed near Noah's apartment. Evelyn held out a pen. Noah didn't take it. His burner phone buzzed at 3:17 a.m. Reeves. Asterisk. They're moving the board meeting. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Your play. Asterisk. Noah sat on his fire escape, the thumb drive glinting in his palm. Below, the occasional taxi crawled through the sleeping streets. He typed one word. Asterisk, checkmate. Asterisk. Then he opened his laptop and began to type. Sterling Tower at 9:45 a.m. was a study in controlled chaos. Noah bypassed security with a visitor badge Reeves had procured, the weight of the thumb drive in his jacket pocket. The boardroom doors were already closed when he arrived, but not locked. He took a breath. Pushed. 20 faces turned. Alexander Sterling, mid-sentence at the head of the table, froze. Noah didn't smile. He simply walked to the projector and inserted the drive. Gentlemen, he said as the first slide appeared. A transaction log dated the week Reeves was forced out. Let's talk about theft. Sterling's chair screeched as he stood. Security. But the board members were already leaning forward, eyes glued to the screen. To the numbers. To the truth. Noah met Sterling's gaze across the table. The game wasn't over. But the rules had just changed. The air in the boardroom crackled with tension as the projector displayed the first damning document. A $28 million transfer from Sterling Dynamics R&D Fund to an offshore account dated 3 days after Reeves' voluntary resignation. Sterling's knuckles turned white against the mahogany table. This is a forgery. His voice carried the controlled calm of a man who'd weathered storms before, but Noah caught the slight tremor in his left hand, the same tell Reeves had warned him about. Margaret Cho, the lead independent director, adjusted her glasses as she studied the screen. These bear the old authentication codes. The ones only you and Daniel had access to, Alexander. Noah remained by the projector, watching the room divide like cells under a microscope. The older board members, those who remembered the company's early days, leaned forward with dawning realization. The newer ones glanced between Sterling and the documents, calculating loyalties. You're taking the word of a disgruntled intern over mine? Sterling's laugh was too sharp, too loud. The boy's been unstable since I discovered this. Noah tapped the keyboard. The screen changed to show security footage, Sterling accessing Reeves' office at 2:17 a.m. on the night of the resignation, a stack of files in his arms. The room erupted. Cho stood abruptly. I moved for an immediate audit of all. The doors burst open. 3 security guards entered, followed by Evelyn Cole holding a sealed envelope. Her usually impeccable chignon had strands escaping around her face. Mr. Sterling. She avoided looking at Noah. We have an urgent situation. Sterling snatched the envelope, tore it open. His face drained of color as he read. Noah didn't need to see the contents to know. Reeves had kept his promise. The press had the story. A cacophony of phones began ringing simultaneously. Sterling's CFO answered first, then hissed. Wall Street Journal's running with the offshore account story. Our stocks halted in pre-market trading. Sterling's gaze locked onto Noah with terrifying intensity. In that moment, Noah saw the mask slip completely, raw, unfiltered hatred beneath. You think you've won? Sterling's whisper carried across the suddenly silent room. You're a dead man walking. Before Noah could respond, a new voice cut through the tension. Threatening witnesses now, Alexander? Even for you. That's bold. Daniel Reeves stood in the doorway, flanked by 2 federal agents. The years of exile fell away as he stepped into the room, every inch the founder returning to claim his throne. The taller agent held up a badge. Mr. Sterling, we have questions regarding SEC violations. You'll want to call your lawyer. Noah expected Sterling to rage, to threaten. Instead, the CEO straightened his tie with eerie composure. Of course, though I believe you'll find any irregularities were the work of our former CFO. He glanced at Evelyn. Prepare the Hartman files. Evelyn's lips parted slightly, the only betrayal of her shock. Noah recognized that look. Someone was being thrown under the bus. Reeves moved to Noah's side as Sterling was escorted out. He's not beaten yet, he murmured. That shell company trail leads to 3 board members in this room. Noah watched as Director Cho began quietly gathering her papers while another board member, the one who'd voted against every ethics measure, was sweating through his Brioni suit. The game wasn't ending. It was multiplying. The elevator doors hadn't fully closed before Noah's legs gave out. He braced himself against the mirrored wall, his breath coming in ragged gasps. The adrenaline crash left him shaking. Reeves studied him. First time seeing a king toppled? He's not toppled. Noah wiped his mouth with the back of his hand. He's regrouping. The older man nodded approvingly. Which is why you're coming with me. They exited through the basement garage where a nondescript van waited. Inside, 2 techs monitored a bank of screens showing news channels, stock tickers, and, Noah's stomach twisted, his apartment building. Reeves handed him a burner phone. Sterling's got assets even I can't track. You're not safe above ground. One of the techs spun in her chair. Sir, we've got a problem. The DOJ just released a statement. They're only charging Sterling with civil violations. No criminal investigation. Noah's head snapped up. How? Someone took the fall. Reeves' jaw worked. Probably that CFO he mentioned. The game's rigged, kid. The higher you climb, the softer you land. A new alert pinged. The tech paled. Security feed at the backup data center just went dark. Someone scrubbing servers. Noah and Reeves exchanged glances. The evidence. Sterling was erasing it. The unmarked data center on 33rd Street looked abandoned from the outside. Just another aging office building in a row of them. Reeves keyed in a code at the service entrance. Backup of all Sterling systems since 2009, he said as they descended stained concrete stairs. The board never knew about this place. Alexander and I built it during the first hostile takeover attempt. The basement level opened into a climate-controlled server farm. Or what should have been one. Noah's steps faltered. Smoke curled from shattered server racks. The acrid stench of melted plastic and burnt wiring choked the air. A single technician lay slumped against the far wall, clutching his stomach. Reeves rushed forward. Jensen, the man groaned. Came in. Wearing our uniforms, knew the codes. Noah's fingers found a surviving terminal. Still warm. He jabbed at keys. Partial logs still cached. They were here 18 minutes ago. Reeves checked Jensen's wound. Grazed a rib. Ambulance is coming. His eyes met Noah's over the dying servers. They're covering tracks. Noah's mind raced. There's another copy. There has to be. Jensen coughed. The cloud backup. But it needs. A gunshot rang out from the stairwell. Noah dove behind a server rack as the glass door exploded inward. Two men in sterling security uniforms advanced, pistols drawn. Reeves pulled Jensen behind cover. "The fail-safe," he shouted to Noah. "Under the floor panel by rack 7. Another shot. Noah crawled through broken fiberglass, the shards cutting into his palms. He found the panel, wrenched it open. A single red thumb drive glowed in the emergency lighting. The lead gunman rounded the corner. Noah grabbed the drive as a bullet sparked off metal inches from his head. Reeves tackled the shooter from behind. "Go!" Reeves grunted, wrestling for the weapon. The parking garage. Now. Noah hesitated only a second before sprinting for the emergency exit. Behind him, the sounds of struggle, then a deafening gunshot. He didn't look back. The parking garage was eerily quiet. Noah's hands shook as he fumbled with the stolen keycard for Reeves' backup vehicle, a silver Tesla registered under a shell company. The thumb drive burned in his pocket. The driver's side window exploded. Noah ducked as another bullet whizzed past. The shooter, a third security operative, advanced from between concrete pillars. Noah yanked the car door open, bullets pinging off the frame. The engine roared to life as he stomped the accelerator. The Tesla shot forward, clipping the shooter's leg with its bumper. The last thing Noah saw in the rearview mirror was the man raising his gun again. Then the world turned white. The deafening explosion lifted the Tesla momentarily off its wheels. Noah fought the spinning steering wheel as the shockwave rattled the garage. Through the smoke, he glimpsed the data center's upper floors collapsing in on themselves. Reeves, Jensen, the servers, all gone. The thumb drive was all that remained. Noah's vision blurred as he skidded onto the West Side Highway. He didn't know who'd set that explosion, Sterling destroying evidence, or Reeves ensuring no one followed. His phone buzzed. An unknown number. Asterisk, they'll track that car. Ditch it. Take the January 9th train to 116th. Bring the package. Asterisk. Noah wiped blood from his forehead. The message wasn't signed, but he knew Evelyn Cole's phrasing when he saw it. Columbia University's campus swarmed with students oblivious to the corporate war raging downtown. Noah blended in with his hoodie and backpack, though his shaking hands drew a few looks. He spotted Evelyn first. No power suit today, just jeans and a leather jacket, her hair tucked under a baseball cap. She bought 2 coffees from a cart and walked toward the mathematics building without glancing his way. Noah followed at a distance. The empty lecture hall smelled of chalk and stale coffee. Evelyn took a seat in the back row, placing 1 cup on the desk beside her. Noah slid into the seat. "You set me up." Evelyn sipped her coffee. "I tried to pay you off instead. You knew Sterling would destroy the evidence." "I knew he'd try." She finally looked at him. "You still have the fail-safe?" Noah studied her face, the faint shadows under her eyes, the tension in her jaw. This wasn't a trap. It was desperation. "Why help me now?" "Because Alexander just killed 12 people in that accidental gas explosion." Her voice wavered for the first time. "Including 3 of my team." Noah's stomach turned. He'd assumed Reeves and Jensen were the only casualties. Evelyn opened her laptop. "The drive, Noah. Before he finishes the job." Outside, sirens wailed in the distance. Closer than they should be. Noah reached into his pocket. The lecture hall doors burst open. 3 men in NYPD uniforms entered, but their posture screamed private security. The lead officer scanned the room, his hand resting on his holstered weapon. Evelyn's knee pressed against Noah's under the desk, a silent warning. "Can I help you, officer?" Her voice was all polite confusion. Reports of a burglary suspect matching this description. The cop held up a phone showing a grainy photo of Noah entering the data center. Noah kept his hands visible on the desk. The thumb drive was in his left sleeve. Evelyn frowned at the photo. "Haven't seen him. We're prepping for a guest lecture." The cop's radio crackled. "Unit 12, confirm location. Additional units en route to 116th. Noah's blood ran cold. They'd tracked the Tesla after all. The officers moved down the aisle, checking rows. Evelyn's fingers tapped rapidly on her laptop. Not random keystrokes, Noah realized. A pattern. 5 taps. Pause. 3 taps. Morse code. S-less. The lead cop reached their row. "IDs, please." Evelyn smiled as she reached for her purse. "Of course, OFFI." Her coffee cup slipped, splashing hot liquid across the cop's pants. He cursed, jumping back. "Now," Evelyn yelled. Noah didn't think. He bolted for the emergency exit, as Evelyn's laptop crashed to the floor, emitting an ear-piercing screech from its speakers. Behind him, shouts. A gunshot. Then nothing but his own ragged breathing as he crashed through the exit doors into blinding sunlight. The subway platform was crowded with afternoon commuters. Noah kept his head down, the thumb drive now safely zipped into his inner pocket. His burner phone buzzed. Unknown number again. Asterisk, don't trust her. They own her. Grand Central, track 34. 30 minutes. Asterisk. Noah stared at the message. Not Evelyn's style. Which meant someone else was playing this game. As the downtown train roared into the station, Noah made his decision. He'd go to Grand Central. But not alone. He dialed the only person Sterling wouldn't expect him to call. His sister answered on the second ring. Noah? What's? Leah, listen carefully. I need you to meet me, but you can't tell anyone. Not Mom. Not your roommate. A pause. Then, in a voice much steadier than he expected from his baby sister. This is about those men who came asking about you, isn't it? Noah closed his eyes. Yeah. I'm in. No hesitation. Where? As the train doors closed behind him, Noah gave her the location. The endgame was coming. And for the first time, he wouldn't face it as an intern, or a pawn, or an underdog, but as Noah Carter, the man who knew enough to burn a billionaire's empire to the ground. The train rattled toward Grand Central, each clack of the tracks like a ticking clock counting down to confrontation. Noah gripped the handrail, watching his reflection warp in the grimy subway windows. The thumb drive pressed against his ribs, a tiny, deadly weight. Leah waited under the clock at Grand Central, her backpack slung over one shoulder, looking more like a curious college student than a conspirator. When she saw Noah, her eyes widened at the cuts on his face, but she didn't flinch. You look like hell, she said. Yeah, well, corporate espionage isn't as glamorous as the movies make it look. He pulled her into a quick hug, lowering his voice. Did anyone follow you? Leah smirked. Switched trains twice. Lost a guy in a suit at Times Square. Noah blinked. You noticed a tail? Pre-law, remember? I watch crime docs for fun. She squeezed his arm. Now tell me what we're really doing here. Noah exhaled. Ending this. Track 34 was nearly empty, just a lone Amtrak idling under the vaulted ceiling. Noah scanned the platform. No cops, no suits, no Evelyn. Then, from the shadows of a pillar, a figure emerged. Daniel Reeves. Blood streaked his temple, his jacket torn from the explosion, but his gaze was razor-sharp. You kept the drive. Noah didn't move. You faked your death. Reeves shrugged. Easier to hunt in the dark. His eyes flicked to Leah. You brought family into this. She's safer with me than waiting for Sterling's people to find her. Noah stepped forward. The servers are gone. The evidence is gone. What's left? Reeves reached into his coat. Noah tensed, but the older man pulled out a single envelope. The one thing Alexander couldn't destroy. The original patents. Signed by both of us. Proves he stole the company. Noah took the envelope. This is enough. It's a start. Reeves glanced at the station clock. But we're out of time. Sterling's lawyers just filed an injunction to freeze all. A gunshot cracked through the station. Reeves jerked forward, a dark stain blooming across his chest. Noah yanked Leah down as more shots rang out, shattering the Amtrak's windows. Sterling's men. They'd found them. Noah dragged Leah behind a baggage cart. Reeves crumpled on the platform. The older man gasped, blood on his lips, but shoved the patents toward Noah. Run. Noah hesitated, but Leah grabbed his arm. The cops will come. We have to go now. The safe house was a tiny apartment above a bodega in Queens. Noah barred the door, hands shaking as he spread the patents on the table. Reeves' blood smeared the pages. Leah paced. We call the FBI, right? This is attempted murder now. Noah stared at the documents. The answer was there, in the faded ink, the dual signatures. Sterling hadn't just stolen a company. He'd stolen a legacy. And Noah finally understood. This wasn't about revenge, or money, or even justice. It was about truth. He picked up his phone, not to call the FBI, not to leak to the press, but to dial the one number Sterling would never expect. Alexander Sterling answered on the first ring. I assume you're calling to negotiate your surrender. Noah smiled. I'm calling to give you a choice. A pause, then a cold laugh. You're in no position to. Patents 1142 through 1148, Noah interrupted. The ones Reeves filed the week you forced him out. The ones you claimed were yours. He let the silence hang. I have the originals. Sterling's breath hitched. Just slightly. What do you want? Resignation. Full reinstatement of Reeves' shares. And a public admission. You're delusional. Noah glanced at Leah, who was already typing on her laptop. Check your inbox. A beat. Then Sterling's voice turned hollow. How did you? Your CFO sang like a canary after you tried to pin the fraud on him. Noah leaned back. The files are queued to every major outlet. One click, and the world sees the real Alexander Sterling. The line was so quiet Noah thought it had disconnected. Then, you win. The words sounded like they cost Sterling physical pain. But this isn't over. Noah hung up. It was. The headlines exploded the next morning. Sterling Dynamics CEO resigns amid fraud scandal. Original founder's name restored to patents. Whistleblower in turn vindicated. Noah sat on the fire escape of the safe house, watching the sunrise. Leah handed him a coffee. You could have taken the money, she said. Evelyn's offer. Noah sipped the bitter brew. Then nothing would have changed. Leah studied him. What now? He thought of Reeves, somewhere in a hospital under a fake name. Of Evelyn, likely already negotiating her next corporate coup. Of Sterling, stripped of everything but his ego. Noah smiled. Now, he said, we build something better. Moral of the story. Asterisk power isn't taken, it's borrowed. And true strength lies not in destroying corrupt systems, but in refusing to become part of them. Asterisk.